Hello YouTube, this is Corbin22, back with another 100-point squadron build for Star Wars X-Wing miniatures. Tonight's build will be featuring 3 heavily customized TIE Interceptors, 2 of which I've used from the Imperial Aces pack that I got today. They are a Roll Guard Pilot, Carnor Jax, and Tetran Cowel. Now these TIE Interceptors, again, have been heavily modified to allow them to last even longer in a dogfight with other ships, as well as allow them to perform even better than most other TIE Interceptors of their kind. With the Roll Guard pilot and Carnor Jax being of the Imperial Roll Guard that served the Emperor personally, and with Tetran Cowel being part of Saber Squadron led by Sunter Fel. So, with that being said, let's get to their stats. Now, these guys have quite the extensive stats here. I would argue that this build I have is about as complex as the Rogue Squadron build I use, without the whole working in synergy. See, with this build, it's a bit of a multi-role build. The TIE Interceptors can work together with each other to focus their fire on one target, or they can split up and focus on individual targets for maximum efficiency. Either way, it's again, this build is a multi-role build. It can either work together or they can separate and pick their targets off one by one. So that being said, let's get into the stats. The first ship I have here, the first pilot I have, is a Royal Guard pilot. Has a pilot skill of 6. He flies the Sonar Fleet System's TIE Interceptor. He has an attack value of 3, a hull agility value of 3, a hull value of 3, and a shield value of 0. He can take on the Focus, Barrel Roll, Evade, and Boost action. Costs 22 squadron points. And he also has access to the Elite Pilot Talent upgrade. Because the Rogue Guard pilot technically counts as a common pilot, it doesn't have any abilities to help maximize its performance, but thankfully we have upgrade cards for that. And the upgrade cards I have for this particular ship will allow it to perform even better than its maximum performance value. So our first upgrade I've given him is Daredevil. This requires that it to be used in the action phase, and it states, execute a white hard left 1 or hard right 1 maneuver, then receive a stress token. Then, if you do not have the boost action icon, roll 2 attack dice, suffer any damage and critical damage rolled. So with Daredevil, it pretty much makes the boost action of the TIE Interceptor even more effective. Because with boost, you can only either move straight ahead 1, or bank left or bank right at the speed of 1. With Daredevil, it allows you to perform a boost doing a sharp turn. However, after performing that, the pilot is stressed. And even worse, if your pilot does not have the boost action, you have to risk rolling for damage. So Daredevil is best equipped onto interceptor ships like the A-Wing and the TIE Interceptor. And yeah, and thanks to the numerous green maneuvers that the TIE Interceptor has, getting rid of that stress will be fairly easy. Now for his modification, to make sure that he lasts longer in a fight, I've given him a shield upgrade. This increases your shield value by 1. So what this means is, with the shield upgrade, the TIE Interceptor now has 1 shield, bringing its total hit points to 4. So, it can zoom in with Daredevil, make its attack at point blank range, and then if it ever gets counterattacked by another ship, it has a shield upgrade to help it take in 1 additional hit, and that 1 additional hit can save your life. So, now we move on to our next ship, which is Tetran Cowel. He has a pilot skill of 7. He also flies the Sonar Fleet System's TIE Interceptor, and unlike the Royal Guard pilot and Carnor Jax, this guy is part of Saber Squadron, hence the red stripes on the solar panels. He has attack value of 3, agility value of 3, a hull value of 3, and a shield value of 0. He can take on the Focus, Barrel Roll, Boost, and Evade actions. He costs 24 squadron points. He's also able to take on the Elite Pilot Talent upgrade. Now his ability reads, when you reveal a K-turn maneuver, you may treat your speed of that maneuver as 1, 3, or 5. This can make all the difference when you're flying with Tetran Cowel. See, most ships, when they perform a K-turn, they most often only perform a K-turn with a speed of, say, 5, 4, 3, and in rare cases 2 with the B-Wing. But with Tetran Cowel's ability, It makes it so that it doesn't matter what K-turn ability you reveal, you can treat it as a speed of 1, speed of 3, or speed of 5 value. So, if you need to get closer or farther, if you need to stay within range of your enemy ship or need to gain some distance, you can reveal your K-turn maneuver, perform the K-turn at that specified speed that the ability allows, and then, of course, you'll receive a stress after that, but depending on how well you perform the K-turn, it won't matter that much, because again, the TIE Interceptor, because it's an Interceptor class ship, it has many maneuvers that allows for green maneuvers, so that makes getting rid of the stress even easier. Now, for Tetran Cowel, I've also given him the Daredevil elite pilot talent. So like with the Rogar pilot, it maximizes his boost action to an even greater extent at the cost of gaining a stress. But again, because TIE Interceptors have not many green maneuvers, stress doesn't really matter that much in this build. For his upgrades though, I've decided to give him a title card, a Rogar TIE. It's a title card that's only meant for the TIE Interceptor, and it states you may equip up to 2 different modification upgrades instead of 1. You cannot equip this card if your pilot skill value is 4 or lower. Thankfully, Tetran Cowel's pilot skill is 7, so I'm able to equip the Rogar TIE to his ship. Now, thanks to the Rogar TIE, I'm able to equip 2 different modifications to his ship. So what I've done, to make him an even more efficient fighter, I've given him 2 shield upgrades, which increases maximum shield value by 2, 1 each. This brings Tetran Cowel's hit point value to a total of 5, with 3 hull points and 2 shield points. So, with these particular stats, Tetran Cowel is actually slightly more efficient than an X-Wing, because X-Wings have attack value of 3 and a hull value of 3 as well, and they also have a shield value of 2 as well, but their agility value is 1 less than the TIE Interceptor. So, with this build, your TIE Interceptor can perform almost as efficiently as a TIE Defender. And TIE Defenders, their stats are balanced. Like, they have 3 of each, so that makes them very formidable in a fight. Now, for the last ship, the squadron leader of this group, I have chosen Carnor Jax. He is of the Rogar TIE Interceptors, hence the red color scheme. He has a pilot skill of 8 and flies the Signar Fleet System's TIE Interceptor. He has an attack value of 3, an agility value of 3, a hull value of 3, and a shield value of 0. He can take on the Focus, Barrel Roll, Boost, and Evade action. He costs 26 squadron points and is able to take on the Elite Pilot Talent upgrade. His ability states, enemy ships at range 1 cannot perform Focus or Evade actions and cannot spend Focus or Evade tokens. So this makes Carnor very dangerous at close range. You do not want him right up your tailpipe. This basically makes Carnor Jax... This basically makes it so that when Carnor Jax is attacking you at range 1, regardless of what angle he's attacking you from, you cannot spend Focus... You cannot take Focus or Evade actions, and you cannot spend Focus or Evade tokens to defend yourself. So with Carnor Jax, it basically leaves you with only Lady Luck at your side. It's even more deadly if you're using a ship like a bomber or like a Y-wing or a B-wing, because those guys, their agility values suck, and well, they can't really the Focus. Yeah, Carnor Jax is pretty much just deadly in general. So for his elite pilot talent, instead of going for Daredevil, I instead decided to give him Predator. And Predator states, when attacking, you may reroll 1 attack die. If the defender's pilot skill is 2 or lower, you may instead reroll up to 2 attack dice. So that means, added with Carnor Jax's effect of enemies not being able to spend a focus or evades or take focus and evade actions when being attacked, Predator also allows so that, say Carnor Jax misses, say he gets like 2 hits and a blank, and the other person gets, say, 2 evades. I can use Predator to reroll 1 of my attack die, or 2 if the pilot skill is low enough, and get a second chance at attacking. So, yeah, again, Carnor Jax I would say is the deadliest of this squadron. That being said, the other pilots are pretty deadly as well, but Carnor Jax is by far the deadliest in this build. And for his title card, I've also made him a Rogar TIE, which makes sense because he flies a Rogar TIE Interceptor. And, yep, it basically states that, like with Tetran Cowel, it allows up to 2 different modifications instead of 1. So for him, instead of giving him shield upgrades, I've given him hull upgrades. And these increase your hull value by 1. So, what that means is, for 1 point less, I'm able to increase Carnor Jax's hit points by 2. So while Tetran Cowel has 2 shield upgrades, they each cost 4 points. Carnor Jax has 2 hull upgrades, which you have 3 points each. So either way, both Tetran Cowel and Carnor Jax have defense value. They have HP 5 hit HP or 5 hit points, allowing them to last even longer in a dogfight. Anyway, so this up onto the squadron strengths. The squadron strengths, well, they're all TIE Interceptors, so they're incredibly fast and incredibly agile. They have a high attack value and agility value. With the upgrades they have, they're able to take more hits than any standard TIE Interceptor, and with their respected elite pilot talents, they're able to maximize their efficiency in a dogfight, with Daredevil for Tetran and Royal Guard, and Predator for Carnor Jax. The build's weaknesses? I'd say that, well, even though they've been heavily upgraded, they don't really take that. This is still a fragile build, like with the Rogue Squadron build. 2 of these ships have can take 5 hits, whereas the Royal Guard can take only 4. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, this build can be used as a synergy build. Like, you can have all ships focus fire on one ship, or have them spread out and attack separately. Having one of these ships destroyed won't affect the squadron that much. It'll just make it, as usual, if you lose a ship, it makes it harder for you. It just makes it that much harder. So anyway, this is my Royal Guard, Tom. This is my Royal Guard build. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. If you like, you guys can use this build for yourselves in a competitive or casual play, or you can modify it or tweak it to your specifications, or even just outright revamp it to your own unique squadron. And hope you enjoyed this video, guys. This is Corbin22 signing off.